Alright, first and foremost, it was cold as fuck in it, bitch. Like, I get it because the performance had to be cool. The people who are drinking have to be cool. Like, if it was hot, that probably would have been just as bad. But it was cold as a motherfucker. So, yeah. Okay, so your girl took herself out on a date because she made a milestone a year ahead of her time. So I was like, I should reward myself. So I took myself out on a date. Like, it was a self date, if that makes sense. And I took myself to the K Camp concert, and I was very surprised that he was coming to Charlotte. Not a lot of people come to Charlotte, so like it was just like, all right, that's like about an hour drive. I can do that. I can go there. I can go see some shit. It was nice. It was nice. I'm gonna speak on him last. I'm gonna talk about the people who performed before him first. So let's get into those. Okay, so one of his opening acts, which I believe was the very first opening act, was Domani. I believe that's how you said his man's name. He's T.I.'s son. I do remember seeing him when he was first doing his, introduction to him being a artist. I did like his music. He's not on my phone. I'm familiar with his music. I'm familiar with his songs. He does make good music in my eyes. Out of all of his sons, he's the one that I am most familiar with. That much I will say. I know his other son, I believe Messiah, he does music too. I don't know what kind of music he does though, so I can't speak on him. But as an opening act, Domani actually did live up to what I was expecting to see out of a performer for an opening act. He did great. He had good crowd control. He had good song. He read the crowd very well and was able to just like get the crowd going and interacting with them. So I feel like T.I.'s influence is also a part of that. Like him having someone like that to be able to coach him on how to properly do crowd control and do music and stuff like that. Definitely, I'm saying stuff like that a lot, but his father being a rapper probably did help understand. Damn, I did my eyeliner real good. That's besides the point though. But it does help him have a better understanding of how to do all that good stuff. So as my first time seeing him, and as my first time just like being there for the beginning of an opening act, he was really nice. I'm not gonna lie. I've only been to about 3 concerts with opening acts. My other concert that I went to, this has nothing to do with this video, was J. Cole. I was my first time seeing Jid and Anderson .Paak. So that was a nice one. My other concert, it was the one on Madison. It was like some small band, but it was still cool. I had a good time. The second opening act was a man named Fresco Trey. He's from Memphis, Tennessee. The crowd was not fucking with this man at all. I was in a big, and it was nowhere in this club where you could actually be warm unless you were drinking or in the midst of people. But like I said, I took myself on a solo date. So I was in a big, and I was hearing all kinds of shit. And I was like, yo, these folks is not fucking with this man. In my opinion, he does not have bad music. It was just something about that specific crowd, and his music was not connecting. I would say out of all his songs that he played, Needed You was one that was like, okay, I could fuck with it. And he did another one where he had to sing in a chorus. I could fuck with that one too. Them 2 songs I could fuck with, but everything else in between, it just wasn't hitting for this crowd. So it definitely made the vibe in the room just be like, eh. Like, the whole vibe in the room just died down. I'm not even gonna lie. When he played his music wasn't bad. It just wasn't for that crowd. And I honestly felt bad for him because I was like, God damn, these motherfuckers is just ignoring him. I really feel bad for bro. Okay, now we're getting into K Camp. I did not stay to the end. I will say that. When I Googled like how long it would take me to get home, it said it was a wreck. And if you know anything about driving on the intersections of inner Charlotte, anytime there's a wreck, it makes your trip that much longer. And I was not trying to be out extremely late. I didn't take my nap today, and I was tired. I also made sure I didn't drink because I knew I was already tired. So, and I was driving myself home. It's not smart to drink and drive. So I did not stay to the end. But one thing I will say is that I did not realize how many songs I did know but wasn't familiar that I knew. And I will also say I did not realize how hard nostalgia can hit you when in the midst of listening to a song. So when I really got into K Camp, I got into him around the Cutter Off era. That was like 2014. Fell off from him because I just like I was working, bitch. I ain't even finna fucking lie. I was working my ass off from fucking 2016 to 2018. And so when I got back around to him, it was for Kiss 5. Kiss 5 is my favorite album. I'm not gonna lie. I did listen to the inner betweens of, and I went back and listened to Kiss 4 and Kiss 3. Kiss 5 will always be my favorite though. It was just the one where I reconnected with him again, and I was like, oh my gosh, no misses at all. But there was a song, there were many of songs that I was like, I could definitely see why he's been doing this for so long. And I do remember like watching a couple of his interviews, because when I feel like whenever you end up buying something to something, you just get a flu of information about a person. So I remember watching one of his interviews, and it was actually really sad, everything that he said in it. But he was like, he had lost hope until like he saw that his stuff was trending on social media. And I was like, oh, kudos to the fans, because you know your fans is what's gonna make you keep going, bitch. Your fans is gonna make you keep going. Overall, the crowd interaction, phenomenal, bitch. Like, I was just like, god damn, these niggas is hitting that shit. I was there for vibes, just for vibes. I was into the music. My favorite part was the guitar. Man, he was hitting that hoe. Every time he would play like the words that was supposed to be said, I was like, ooh, he hit that hoe. I forget what it's called, but it's what's used in Computer Love to make the that part. Yeah, that shit sound good too. That should sound real good live. I've never heard one live. That was my first time. I was like, ooh, I like this. I like this a lot. His DJ, I liked his DJ. His DJ was very interactive. Very, very interactive. I love an interactive DJ. I also like an interactive band, but I love an interactive DJ. His overall performance is actually really good. He has good stage presence, good crowd control. Like, it was a good performance. It was a well spent night out for a solo day. I'm very proud of myself. Very proud of myself. One thing I will say is that I got overstimulated at one point, and I was in the corner trying to calm myself down. I was about to have a whole fucking panic attack in that bitch. I was like, god damn. Because I hadn't took myself out on like a solo date in so long, it was kind of weird just getting myself back out into doing things. Just being out in public in general, like not going to get something and coming back home, like not going to get food, coming back home, not going to get some groceries, coming back home, not going to work and coming back home. Like, that was the weirdest part about the entire night, was just being like, you're out to have fun, you can relax. It was hard for me to get myself to understand that I could relax. So I would say, like, besides being cold, because once my iron is low, bitch, I'm dead. I can't do anything. It was just hard to try to remind myself I can relax. Like, you are okay to relax. So as a whole, I fought with the concert. I really do. For Fresco Trey, I'm pretty sure that was him. His DJ was nice too. I don't know who was doing his music, but that was nice. Y'all had really good song choices. I did like the sing along during K Camp's part. That was really cute. It was really nice to just hear the voices. Someone in that fucking middle part though, towards the front of the stage, that bitch had some pipes. I heard her ass in the back. I was in the back corner. I was like, god damn. And I had my little loops in, so like she was piping. I'm talking about, I was like, god damn, that bitch going. As a whole, I give it an 8 out of 10. It got an 8 out of 10 because I froze my ass up the entire time. I'm not complaining that it was cold. I'd rather it be cold than to be hot. I don't want to smell nobody body. And that was my first time just like doing something in Charlotte, in the nightlife of Charlotte. So it was a pretty cool outing. It will be a while before I do something again. Like, energy level is low. I need to recharge. But Charlotte came and they showed out. K Camp came and he showed out. I appreciate the intro acts. They were very nice to also listen to. So yeah, if you're thinking about going to the show, you know, I don't know if those two people are going to be his opening acts for every show, but yeah, I wish I would have stayed to the end. But I do not like being stuck in traffic, especially when I'm sleepy. Like, I don't like being stuck in traffic. But yeah, I'm very proud of myself. I just thought I'd gloat for a little second. I don't do it often, so I thought I'd gloat for a little second.